You know, my father was an orphan, a real one. His mother died when he was 13. He was not an easy man to get along with. There are things that I'm going to have problems with because of him for the rest of my life. But you know what? He didn't pass away until I was about 25. But he left my mother and I, and my sisters, but my mother and I more so, because he was able to convince one of my sisters to move with him later, when I was 13. Now, there was a friend of mine that I made when I was a teenager that I kicked his ass about 2 months after we became friends. I had another quote-unquote friend who hated me because I was attracted to this girl that he was attracted to. They conspired to ruin my life during college, and they succeeded. I think my other friend, who hated that I was attracted to this girl that he was attracted to, conspired with this other friend I had, who I kicked his ass about 2 months after becoming friends with him, because he thought I hated disabled people. That wasn't the case. I showed this person a great deal of patience, but he genuinely said something to me that I was going to beat the shit out of him for someday. And I did. The first time I visited his house to meet his family, like friends do growing up, he called me an orphan, and he called my mother a cheating whore. So I kicked Paxton Peterson's ass about 2 months after we became quote-unquote friends, and we stayed friends. Never thought he was going to conspire with Ben Sundberg to ruin my life in college, but they certainly did. Because I don't think Ben Sundberg ever questioned why I would do that. He probably just assumed I was a bad guy. He didn't, realize Paxton had such a low moral compass that he would insult another child's mother and insult his status, even in front of his own mother, with such cruelty. So I beat the fuck out of that kid and threw him on the ground because he called my mother a cheating whore and he called me an orphan, just because I trusted him enough to be friends with him. And I trusted both Ben Sundberg and Paxton Peterson to be my friends in college. And I will never talk to those pieces of shit ever again.